In episode 1, we explored how to create a game plan for a Destination X inspired classroom adventure. This episode, we are going to concentrate on making some visuals around it. I know for me, when I get an idea like this, I need to create something visual to get me excited and to help me, I don't know, tap into that inspiration to create all of the other pieces. So, one of my favorite ways to create is with Canva. So, I'm going to share with you how I created an image very similar to the one that you see behind me using Canva. And I'm going to share with you some of my favorite little tips and tricks. Okay, what you see on the screen is an image that I created in Canva to just create some type of a visual around my game. So this might be something that I incorporate in my video trailer. This might be something that I use as a logo on some of my different printed materials. I mean, you can use it in a variety of ways. So what I want to show you first is that I needed to draw my inspiration from somewhere, and it might as well be from the show, right? So this here is the video trailer image. And so I noticed in the video trailer image, there was kind of an X in the background. I saw I had some kind of branded Destination X logo here. So that was kind of the general style that I was going for when I was creating my logo here. I also played around with bringing in some just images of me and removing the backdrop. I might still bring in some of those that I created with that, and I'm going to show you how to do it, but I decided to take myself off of my logo. I just liked this look better, but you can do whatever you want. I'm going to show you how to bring in your own image if you want. So let's go ahead and start with a blank slate. Now, notice I have kind of this green color, which I happen to love this color. And I first want to show you how I got this backdrop. So in Canva, what you can do, and right now we are in a design in Canva. So you can see I have my sidebar of all the features that I can use, and my pages that I'm designing on are in the center of the screen. So what I want to do is I want to select a color, and to select a color, I am going to need to go to this little color button right here. And when I click on it, I get all of these colors. What I love is Canva has already pulled from my image. You can see it's showing all of the colors that are dominant in that Destination X image. So if I want that green background again, which I love, it's already here for me. If it wasn't, what I could do is I could go to this little X, I could click on my dropper, and I could just drop it on whatever color I want. It will grab that color and just bring it in. So super easy to find the colors that you are looking for. Um, Super easy. The next thing that I want to do is generate that X in the background. So the way that I'm going to do that is I'm going to go to my elements. Now, when I go into my elements here, I can search all of these different things. If I just wanted just an X to bring in the background, I could simply search X in my graphics, and all of these options are going to show up, and I could stretch that and bring it in. What I opted to do was to go into my frames instead. So you can see here, I've got a frames category. When I click on frames, I can type in the letter X. It's going to show me that there are some X frames. Now, what a frame is in Canva is it is a kind of a cutout for a photo. So I can find an X that I like, and I feel like this one's probably going to be the closest. And I can fill this in with whatever photo that I want. So the first thing that I'm going to do is I'm going to stretch this X out because I want it to kind of fill up my screen. Now, one thing that I can do too is I can grab it like this. I can also use this to shrink it. So if I wanted to shrink it a little bit to make it a little squattier, I could do that as well. So I'm just gonna do this. If you wanted just to keep it like this and then make a border around it, you could also do that. I could make it a little bit squattier. So I'm just gonna play with that a little bit to get the kind of look that I'm going for. So we're just going to keep it like that. Now that I have this, I want to bring in some type of a picture. So I'm going to X out of my search bar and go back, and I'm going to look at my photographs. It has to be a photograph that gets dropped in here. It cannot be a graphic if I want it to fill in the X. So I'm going to go to my photos, and I think I want something like international. Let's see what comes up. Okay, so I've got some flags, some different things. I've got some maps. So we could see what it's like to bring in these flags here. I could drop that in. That looks kind of cool. I might even want to type in the word map. That kind of gave me an idea. Maybe instead I want to drop in this, or maybe this, or maybe I want to type in, to see if I put country collage, what comes up. Okay, that's interesting. So you might find something like that. Oh, I see it's doing like, it's not what I was wanting. Let's just do world. Okay, here's kind of like an amazing race kind of a look, which is cool. Here is, yeah, so lots of options. So you can just kind of see, I can play around with this. All right. I am trying to figure out what I used. World, let me just put world collage and see what comes up. Okay, this is kind of cool. How about I use this one? I think that might be what I used for mine. So now that I've done that, one of the things that's really neat that you can do with frames, so I'm going to get rid of this over here, is I can add a border to it. So if I click on this X and I go up to this top bar, you can see where it has these lines. I can change the stroke weight here. And if I click on this little circle, I can change the color. So if I wanted to make that yellow, I could give it a yellow look. Now, another thing that I can do, if I wanted this to be a little bit more faded, I could fade that out into the background as well if I wanted just to have kind of the X, but I wanted it to not be as vibrant. So both of those are options there. So now we have our X frame. We filled it with some different pictures of different parts of the world. We've added a yellow frame. So now let's think about adding in our title. So I'm going to just close this sidebar and I'm going to go to my text. Now, if I just want to add a text box, I can simply add a text box here. And let's say I want to type in destination X. If I go to my effects, there's a lot of really cool things that I can do. I can go in and maybe make a yellow background for this. I could maybe give it a background so that there's a background behind it. So lots of things. I could even go in if I wanted, and I could curve this. All of those options are possible. Now, something else that I can do, just going to get rid of that, is I can go up to my text and it's going to show me all of the font combinations that Canva has put together that we might like. So let's say we wanted to do something like this. We could do destination X. One thing with the different text combinations is a lot of times we have text boxes grouped together. I can click on my text box and click ungroup, and then it separates it. So if I wanted this to be separate from destination, I could do that. So now maybe I want to do that. Maybe I want to make this black, and maybe I want to change that pink to yellow. I could go into my effects because this text is an effect, and I can click on yellow. And now I have been able to change what the font combination gave me, and I can make it yellow instead of pink. So now I got to click on effects again and change this to yellow. So that's another option I can do. It also in Canva will give you all of the apps that are font creating apps that are, some of them are third party, some of them are not. So if you wanted to play even more around with font combinations, you could also go in here and play around with some different font apps. There are even more than listed here. If you go into apps and just type text or font, you are going to find lots and lots of options to create text art. Okay, so now what I want to do is let's play around with bringing in maybe our own profiles to add to this. So I'm going to go in to my uploads and I'm just going to bring in a picture. So let's say I want to bring in, we'll bring in this picture of me on the beach. Now, did you notice when I hovered over this X, it wanted to fill it in? That is something that can happen when you have lots of different layers and things going on in Canva, is things want to like do that. So what I want to do is I want to just click on my X and I want to click this lock button so that that won't happen. And once I do that, now this is not going to want to try to drop in. But I don't want the beach in the background because that just distracts from my logo. So I'm going to click on my photo. I'm going to click background remover. And when I click background remover, it's going to remove that background. So now I can move this around, make it bigger, smaller. Now, one thing, I'm going to make this a little bit more manageable by shrinking the sides here. So one of the things that I notice when I want to bring in layers like this, it sometimes will not pop out like I want it to because it's just the background is distracting. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go into my edits and I have a couple options. I'm going to click on shadows and I can create a glow, and I can create that more of a white glow. And you can see how it adds kind of this glow effect behind me. I can also go to outline and I can change the intensity and I can change the size and I can create an outline around me in the color that I want. So I can pick maybe a white or a gray color, maybe even if I wanted to, wonder how this would look. I'm going to see if I can create more of a yellow color. I don't like that quite as much. I could probably match it exactly to what I have there, but let's go back to more of a white. Okay, so now I have this sticker. I actually think that I like the glow a little bit better, so I'm going to do that. Now, if I wanted to flip my picture around, I could do that as well. Maybe that looks better because I'm kind of showing off the destination X. So there you have it. I have my little profile picture with the background removed with my destination X. Another thing that I sometimes like to use to make things stand out is the glow in elements. If I type in, you could say, I'm trying to think what, I'll say white rectangle glow. It can create these kind of glows that I can put behind things. So if I really wanted that destination to pop out more, I would want to make sure that the position is in the back. I can have that extra glow. Maybe I want to have more of a circular glow because I want to put that behind my X, I could do that as well. And notice it's kind of almost too vibrant, so I can go into my transparency and I can change that so it's not so vibrant. So there you have it. I have a logo that I've created for Destination X. If you wanted to have some kind of a subtext title on here, you could, but now I have kind of that logo or design that I can play with and really use as the inspiration for the rest of the things that I create for my game. So I hope that helps. When you save this, you can go in to share here and you just click download, and you'll want to download that either as a PNG or a JPEG. So then you have it and you can print it, you can put it in your different designs. Possibilities are endless. So have fun designing your logo for your Destination X game.